Yeah, I agree with you. I totally felt the fight was scripted. Like any good movie or TV show, there was a
Yep.
script.
I gotta say the fight before with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, I rather talk about that fight.
This guy is still an absolute beast. He's still an
And
absolute legend, and I don't think anything can take that away, regardless of what the outcome of this fight was. I've actually had some male crushes as well. The guy looks like a Greek god. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
for me, it was Kurt Russell. He was definitely a mainstay.
She was my crush too. She's also Mexican, but she had a lot of work done. She was not born with that face.
So okay, I'll
Yeah.
put that on. I'll put that on do not watch list. Copy. Welcome to another episode of the Cinema Subway, the podcast where movies, pop culture, entertainment collide on the tracks of endless conversation. Whether you're a film buff, a casual viewer, or just here for the ride, we've got your ticket to all things cinema. I'm one of your hosts, Los, with my other two hosts, Akash and Gabby. Hi guys.
What's going on,
What's
y'all?
up?
It's your boy Akash.
How was your week been?
Uh, Pretty eventful actually. A lot happened this week. Kind of felt like it flew by a little bit. Some interesting stuff has developed during the week. That I'm very interested in talking about.
Awesome. Yes, on this episode, we're gonna be talking about over the weekend the Jake Paul Tyson fight. We will also be talking about celebrity crushes we had as kids and as adults. And our last topic will be all-star cast movies that flopped, didn't hit with the audience, or didn't do well at the box office. First off, we're gonna be
Sounds
talking.
like we got a fun one.
This will be a very fun one. First off, we're going to be talking about the Tyson Jake Paul fight. Thoughts?
I think it was
Oh man,
rigged.
that was
I think they made so much money that they just had to dance around. It was really
that
boring.
was that was if if you didn't tell me that fight was scripted or not, I would think that that fight was scripted. It felt like a movie, you know. I felt like I was watching Rocky or something. Though it was like beat by beat, the way a movie would play out. It for me, it felt like everything tied up in a nice knot at the end of it. If Tyson was to come out and say, "I'm making a biography, and then this is gonna be my last fight in the movie," I would be like, you got your movie right there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally felt the fight was scripted. Like any good movie or TV show, there was a
Yep,
script. I think the script
absolutely.
wasn't completely adhered to. I think it was a loose script. I think they knew kind of like the beginning, they kind of knew what the ending
Yep,
was going to be. It's a live event. So in a live event, just like a wrestling episode, like a WWE, they are prepared for those unexpected changes that could happen in a live moment, right? So I'm sure there was maybe cues or conversations being had in the corners to
yep.
dictate the fight.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. Hey Molly Mall, do you have a clip of Tyson fighting Jake Paul where it shows that he had opportunities to really hurt this guy?
This fight was most definitely rigged. Here's some evidence you might have missed. Tyson was doing fantastic at the beginning, landing some big shots and knocking Jake around the ring. But that changed when Paul clenched with Tyson. It's alleged he whispered into Tyson's ear to cool it, and the message was confirmed received by Tyson with the affirming tap on the back. After that moment, Tyson became a stick in the mud, standing directly in front of Paul with no more aggressiveness to him. Like here, for instance, Tyson can see the right hand plain as day and makes no attempt to slip it. My next reason is Tyson was definitely pulling his punches. Tyson looked as if he was struggling to hold back and not throw punches at Paul. Here's a perfect example. Tyson deflects the shot off his shoulder, comes up in perfect position to land a counter right hand, but does nothing. Very uncharacteristic. And my final reason is Tyson biting his glove. The reason he was doing this was to remind himself not to throw punches and let Jake control the pace. Was this fight a fake? Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
need that video to see that that was happening. It happened within the first round. Um, Jake was super scared. I think
Yeah.
what's his name? Tyson went to throw a punch and Jake flinched. And then they hugged. They were they were resting. It was the first
Mm.
round. What is he resting for? He was definitely telling him to cool it because it's Tyson. Did you see his training
Yeah.
video? It was
Yeah, he
insane.
I
was
did actually. He looked like a beast
he
in that
was a
video.
completely
Completely
different
different
boxer in the
person.
training videos.
Completely different. And then he went in the ring with his knee brace, which is fine. He's what, 58 years old?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like they had to play up his age. When in that training thing, he was destroying his trainer.
Yeah.
This fight was it was awful. It was hard to watch.
You
And
know,
hard to watch in a bad way. It was just not entertaining to me. It was slow, it was boring. Even what Jake Paul did, like whatever hits he got, he's a mess. He's not a boxer. It was a mess. His form was it was I I watched it just because everyone else was watching it. I gotta say the fight before with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, I rather talk about that fight, to
Yeah,
be honest.
that was
absolutely.
a great fight.
I mean,
Yeah.
those two were going at it like they were gladiators.
Yeah.
That
See, that
that
one was
fight
hard to watch, but
definitely
a
for
good
me
hard
was
to
the main
watch
card
because
fight.
of her face. Her face
Yeah.
was that cut on her eye was insane. And yeah, hard to watch, meaning that they were beating each other up. For me, that's hard to watch. The other fight, Tyson and Jake Paul, it's hard to watch because it was boring and you kind of knew it was rigged. So I'm like, they're making so much
Yeah.
money off this
Yeah.
that like you knew it wasn't going to be anything that crazy.
It's like Carlos said earlier. It felt like a WWE match, except I feel like I would have been more entertained with a WWE match because I know what I'm getting into with WWE
Yeah.
matches. This felt very much so like it felt like Snatch, where it was like in taking place in the unlicensed world of underground boxing, and Brad Pitt has to go in and basically take a fall from the other guy's fighter. This fight was it was utter trash, and I liked the Taylor and Serrano fight much more. That felt very much so like two gladiators just going to town on each other, and it was much more of a spectacle to watch than this Jake Paul and Tyson fight.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Jake Paul. I don't like his
Either of them. It's either of the
yeah, I
Paul
don't
brothers. They're
yeah,
awful.
I don't like his
Not a fan.
him participating in the sport. I don't know if it's helping or hurting the sport. Growing up, these boxing pay-per-view events, these main events, you were watching these the best pound for pound fighters go at it. The belt was on
Yeah,
the line. You knew
Right.
someone was gonna win. There was a winner and a loser. It wasn't scripted. Even though over the years there's always been some fights that always were like, oh, you think they already knew the outcome. So
Right.
now with boxing not being the sport it was, no one's really paying for pay-per-view like that. People are watching UFC fights. That really is the main fighting type of programming that people are loving. Boxing took a backseat. Here you got Jake Paul, who is beating up on, out of shape, retired guys who haven't fought in years, guys who still have a little bit of name recognition that can sell tickets. I have, for
Right.
one, have never watched a Jake Paul fight. I've always watched the end results because it still catches my attention. But this fight, I was watching for Tyson.
yep,
I wasn't. I was expecting him to knock this kid out, just
I
because.
think we all were. I think we
Yeah,
all
just
were.
because of all the trash talking that was happening.
yep,
And but again, it was most likely scripted. It was made in a way where it had to engage the audience. It had to make us want to watch and tune in.
Right.
So it sucks to see your heroes, guys you used to admire, the prime of in their prime, shape, doing what they do best in a sport. It sucked to see Tyson on display like that, but I can't hate. I'll never hate Tyson. He was securing that bag. He really was.
absolutely,
20
absolutely.
mil, 20 mil for a fight where he hasn't fought in years. And I let it digest. I can't even hate Jake Paul because what he's doing, he's putting money into these guys' pockets. He
Yeah.
really is. He is. He's giving these guys second lives at their careers. Guys that we don't talk about day to day, he's doing that. Whether you want to think it's scripted or a real live event, he is putting money in these guys' pockets. At the end, he did show respect to Tyson.
Yeah.
You know, Tyson is 58 years old. He could be a grandpa. I think he is a grandpa. You know, that guy should be at home, you know, eating his applesauce, you know? But at 58, what he was doing on that ring, I don't think any average 58-year-old man can do. It was a
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
a display of just athleticism from a 58-year-old man. Again, I'm pretty sure going into the later rounds, he was gassed. You know, the only
Yeah.
person Tyson was fighting in that ring was Father Time. You know, he was trying to stay up because, you know, he might have come out the gate swinging, and he did hurt Jake Paul. But in that fifth, sixth round, you can tell, you know, he was already losing power, he was losing stamina, and you know,
Yeah.
I guess we all saw the end result. You know, he probably had to, you know, like he said, bite his lip, bite that glove, so that he doesn't hurt his opponent.
You know,
Yeah, I
whether
think
or not he
that's
won
all he
this
wanted.
fight, whether or not
We
he
all
won
wanted
this
him
fight
to
or
fight
not,
something.
he's still Iron Mike for me, man. You know, this guy is still an absolute beast. He's still an
Yeah.
absolute legend, and I don't think anything can take that away, regardless of what the outcome of this fight was. But I do want to point out something funny that I found early in the fight, well, before the fight, when Jake Paul was walking out. Anybody catch the walkout music that the song that he was walking out to?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. It was Up in the Air by Phil Collins, which, if anybody's seen The Hangover, knows why that's funny.
Yeah, that's a one of the Phil Collins' best songs. You know, I can feel it
Favorite.
coming in
It's my
the
favorite.
air.
The air
Yes,
tonight.
that's a great song, man. Tudum, 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 tudum. Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, that was a smart, you know, again, smart marketing from Jake Paul and his team. They knew what they were doing. They know how to create viral moments.
Yep.
You know, I don't know what his place is gonna be in the future because he is running out of opponents to fight that have notoriety. I would like to see him actually step up and test his boxing skills against another boxer. Maybe that's the end goal. Maybe he'll just go through all these washed up athletes and maybe end it and do something else. Um, but you know, let's take away the W's, the wins here, right?
Yeah.
Netflix basically said, "Hey, we don't gotta do pay-per-view no more. We can stream it." You know, a TV movie, you know, streaming service is now streaming live events. Yeah, the lagging sucked and the graphics suffered. It looks like I was playing Nintendo Mike Tyson's Punch Out at one point, you know? But it's a huge W that you're not dropping $50 to $100 for a pay-per-view event. It's part of your service. You can't beat
Yep.
that. And another W is Mike Tyson, man. He walked away with the bag, 20 mil in the pocket. It was great to see him again. You know, we love Tyson. I love Tyson. I would love to
Yeah.
see more Tyson. You know, give me more Tyson, man. You know, he's a charismatic, enigmatic character. And you know, definitely give me more of him and less of Jake Paul. But that might not be the
Speaking
case.
That would be lovely,
speaking of
but I don't think that's happening.
speaking of more Tyson, you know what I would not like? More of Tyson's butt cheeks. No, thank you. I could have
Oh
lived
yeah,
without that.
That
That's
that was so funny though. That was so funny.
yeah. It
I
looked like
could have went on without that.
yeah, it looked like two well-baked loaves of bread. You know?
Also, wasn't it his son? His son was like, "Okay, Dad, this is like you're just hanging out with his dad's ass cheeks out."
Yeah, the whole time everything is buffering. You can't see it, but the thing that comes in clear is his butt cheeks. You know, funny.
They did that on purpose. See, that's marketing. That's why people were
is.
there. They're for all of Tyson. That's what they wanted to see.
You know, that would
So
be the kind of stuff that, you know, you're watching as like a young person, and then your parents comes in at the wrong moments and catches you watching. Like, whoa, what are you watching there, son?
That's his ass cheeks.
so just to round out talking on this topic, favorite boxing movies. You guys have any?
Yes, actually. This one's actually a bit underrated, and as much as I'd love to say Rocky, I think this movie definitely kind of hits me in a different kind of way. But Real Steel with Hugh Jackman, the robot
Oh,
boxing movie,
that's a good movie. I like that one.
I thought it's such a great film. It's such a wholesome movie, and I love that movie. But other than that, I really love what is it? I believe it's Rocky 4 with the with what's his name?
Oh,
That with
Ivan
Drago?
Ivan Drago.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Dolph
I
Lundgren.
love
Yeah,
that film. That's
yeah,
probably my low key. It's my favorite Rocky film.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we all going to
Gabby,
agree that that's the best one? Or do we
no,
not agree?
but that might have to be for another time. Uh, but Gabby, what's your favorite boxing movie?
Wait, what's better than Drago?
Oh, so
Or
so
not
Rocky Four.
Well, we'll talk about that next time. So I actually liked Snatch. Snatch was a good boxing movie. I think of that as
Oh,
a boxing
Mm,
movie.
yeah,
I think it was a little bit of everything, but
yep.
I think Brad Pitt's fighting scenes in that were really good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like you say boxing and everyone goes to Rocky.
yeah.
So definitely Rocky 4 was good, but I'm gonna go with Creed because I really enjoyed
It is
Creed.
fantastic.
Creed was a great movie, and bringing Michael B. Jordan into it, I thought that one was done really well. The boxing in that was done really well too. I enjoyed that movie, and also yeah, Michael B. Jordan is beautiful, so that was fun.
Yeah, for me, it's Rocky 1 and 2. It's the
Okay,
whole
Yep.
movie. Yeah, it's you gotta do both of them. It's one of those movies, and I'm being honest. When I want to cry, I watch the end of Rocky 1, when
Hmm.
he loses, but the movie was more of a love story than it was a boxing movie. It's about his love with Adrian, and he
yeah,
lost, but he didn't care that he lost. He just wanted to be going straight to Adrian. And then part two is where he wins. It's to me boxing masterpiece on Stallone's part. I believe he won the Oscar for screenplay.
Yeah.
right.
For screenplay, it just was, to me, it's the epitome of the boxing movie, the underdog versus the champion. Bar none, I think is the best boxing movie ever made.
There, I give you that.
Yeah, yeah,
What
But it's
about
definitely,
also cool
definitely a
that like
favorite
you
boxing.
think of boxing and it's like only Rocky like that.
Right,
I
but
I think that's yeah. So that's just
I guess
how
that's a
the
it's a
powerhouse is.
testament. Yeah, it's a testament to that movie that's what everybody refers to. It's Rocky. That's the
Yeah,
blueprint.
right.
I mean, a lot of people, a lot maybe older people might say Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull.
Yeah.
You know, but I think Rocky was able to give us a much more complex profile of the fighter and his life, and coming from being helping out a mobster to like becoming a pro boxer and on the way finding love. I think it's it resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I can agree with that. I'd also like to throw in there another great boxing film that I really enjoy is David O. Russell's The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg and
Mm.
Christian Bale. I thought that's such a phenomenal movie as well.
Yeah, that
Yeah, that's a
movie's
great
great.
one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
that's a good
Christian
one
Bale
too.
also, I feel like that year where he had like 2 or 3 years where he was just in so many movies where he was so many different characters,
Yeah,
and one of them was a
yeah.
fighter, and he like lost so much weight. It was just yeah, it was amazing in that too.
Yeah.
I'll always applaud his dedication to every role he commits himself to because
Absolutely.
I think he was coming off of The Dark Knight, or maybe it was at The Dark Knight Rises when that movie came out. But he went from being Bruce Wayne to being this like super skinny. I think he was Mark Wahlberg's trainer in that movie and his brother as well. But they were
It's his
both
brother, yeah.
so good in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on to our next topic. We will be talking celebrity crushes.
Oh, this
Which
is a
ones?
fun
Which
one.
ones? Yeah, which ones we had as a kid, maybe as an adult. What drove you to have this crush on this person?
Yeah.
Akash, you want to go first?
Yeah. So starting off with me, well, I've spent like the last 2 or 3 days like going back and forth because I had so many crushes, so that's celebrities. But I'm gonna have to go with Catherine Zeta-Jones for my first crush. Growing up, the first movie I saw her in was The Mask of Zorro, and I was like literally in love with this woman. And then obviously she was also in the Ocean's films, which, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Even to this day, she's really freaking beautiful. Um,
Yeah,
I
she's
also
so
had
gorgeous.
a huge crush on Penelope Cruz as well. I think she's absolutely stunning as well. And Monica Bellucci. I love Monica Bellucci, man. Growing up, I thought she
Oh,
was also insanely beautiful. But this list is not only restricted to women celebrity crushes. I've actually had some male crushes as well. So the first one is this Bollywood actor. I love Bollywood films, and it's this guy called Hrithik Roshan. This
What?
guy is a guy looks like a Greek god. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. You guys, yo, Molly Mall, can you pull up a image of this guy? Yep, that's him.
Oh yeah, I know him.
oh yeah, he does look familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy. He's super talented too. He's like a fantastic actor as well. Yeah. And then I actually have another one, besides him, Tom Hardy.
Ah,
I think,
cool.
Ooh, that's a good
yeah,
one.
yeah. I'm such a huge Tom Hardy fan. So yeah, those are mines. What about you guys? I love to hear you guys.
Yeah,
I
Gabby,
think
what's yours? Celebrity crushes.
um so I said a couple of mine last week, but I'm just gonna stick with Harrison Ford. He was the first crush I had. Yeah, I said this last time. I was like 8 years old. I'm like, who is this beautiful man? But I watched a lot of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. So I'm gonna go specifically with the Indiana Jones films because of just his character made him that much better looking. Like he was just this badass who was just a wild adventure. So I'm gonna go with like Harrison Ford. Young Harrison Ford could get it. Even old Harrison Ford. I still think he looks
Yo.
good. He looks he's old, but I still think he's attractive. He's in a show, what's it called? It's on what's it called? On Apple TV.
Drinking?
Oh,
He's so good.
shrinking.
Shrinking. I heard it was really good. That's on
Oh,
Yeah.
my list too.
fantastic.
But I still think he looks good. Harrison Ford. Um, I had Leo, but I already said Leo. For women, I'm gonna say Charlize Theron.
Mm,
She is beautiful in everything she's done. Um, Eon Flux wasn't a good movie. I didn't like it, but I think she was gorgeous in that movie. And then Mad Max, even like Fury Road, when with a shaved head, she was still gorgeous to me. So, and then another thing where the character is so badass that like it makes her even hotter. So when she was younger, she was flawless. So I'm thinking of like Devil's Advocate. What was the other one? Sweet November. It was a rom-com, or not really. It was a chick flick. She was gorgeous in Sweet November. Um, and then she just went from there where she was kind of like playing like badass, but also just like she was like just a gorgeous badass. So I'm gonna go with Charlize Theron. I feel like she is still gorgeous still. Like
Yeah,
she's also a little bit older, but she's
yeah, she's
gorgeous. Look at
beautiful.
that. She's so
yeah,
beautiful.
it's insanely
Yeah.
beautiful. I haven't seen it, but have you seen Atomic Blonde? I've heard a lot of people say good things about
Also
that
gorgeous,
one.
gorgeous
Mhm.
in that movie, and it's like kind of like it was the same stunt people as John Wick.
Uh,
So I would suggest Atomic Blonde. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Los,
And
what
my
about
I'm
you?
not gonna say my runner-up because it's Los's.
Yeah. For actors, growing up, for me, it was Kurt Russell. He was definitely a mainstay. 80s, 90s movies for me. Talking about Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing, Escape from New York. overboard. He was not just the action. He was the sci-fi guy too. He was the
Yep.
romantic interest. So, you know, early on, I just thought he was the coolest dude in movies. I remember limping like him for like weeks because he was limping in Escape from New York. My mom didn't let me wear the eye patch. She said, "You're crazy. I'm not gonna let you wear an eye patch." But like I said, that guy to me, to this day, everything he's in, I have just an affinity to watch. I think he's a great actor. He's
Yep.
diverse, and it puts him, for me, tops in terms of celebrity crushes. For the females, I have several. If I had to pick one, the ultimate one, it'd be Salma Hayek. Her role in From Dusk Till Dawn, where she's, I forget, I think her name was Satanica, where she was the snake
Pandemonium
stripper,
or something. Yeah.
Pandemonium. And if I can, switch roles with Quentin Tarantino when she's pouring alcohol down her leg, down her foot into his mouth, let that happen, please. But a close second was Sandra Bullock. And
Yeah.
I remember the first time watching her in Demolition Man,
Mm.
and she was just like so pretty to me. I remember that one scene where remember that scene where she puts on the helmet because they can't physically touch each other, right?
Yeah.
It's outlawed in the future, so they gotta put on the helmet to have sex.
Yeah.
I wanted to sit across her and put on that helmet too. you know that she was just a doll in that movie, man. Like, to this day, she's one of those women who I think aged very gracefully, and hell of an actor.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Coming from that
Absolutely.
movie to like being like the actress she is now. And my honorable mention is Christina Milioti. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Oh, from the
Oh,
Penguin.
the Penguin,
Interesting.
Sophia Falcone. I just think, I think she's got everybody's attention because it's one of the most viewed TV shows right now.
Yep.
So she's definitely on everybody's radar.
Yep.
And something about the way she's portrayed, I find
Mhm.
attractive. So those are my picks.
Can I just would like to add because it's you also mentioned From Dusk Till Dawn, right? One of my current crushes actually right now, and so as far as celebrities, is a another version of Santanico, and that's the recent show that came out like a couple of years ago, played by Asa Gonzalez. I think she's absolutely beautiful, and she's like been my crush ever since.
Oh, that's the TV show.
Yeah, yeah. Have you
Yeah,
guys seen it?
I've never watched it. No,
Yeah, she's stunning.
yeah,
All
I'm
right,
gonna have to watch it now to see what you're talking about.
I don't
Yeah,
want to ruin her for me because she was my crush too. She's also Mexican, but she had a lot of work done. Sorry. Could do a before and after. But because
dog.
she's gorgeous. She was in before Baby Driver. She was in something, and I was like, who the hell is this? She's absolutely gorgeous. She was a Mexican singer, and she was not born with that face. So I'm sorry, but you maybe
It's all right.
don't look at what she looked like before.
She's still my crush. I'm still gonna watch whatever she's in. She was in Three Body Problems, which I absolutely love too. I
Oh
thought that
yeah,
was
she was.
a great show. Yeah, yeah. That's you guys have some great choices. I like your choices.
Yeah, I like you guys. Yeah, I like you guys' choices also as well. Okay,
So,
that was interesting to find out everybody's crushes. Very cool.
yep, yep.
Our final topic is going to be movies that featured all-star casts that flopped at the theater, whether the audience didn't like it wasn't did terrible at the box office. I'm sure there's plenty. It took me a while to think of a couple of all-star cast movies because most of them are pretty good. So I would love to hear your picks on these type of movies that didn't do well, and I would love to
So,
also hear movies that did really well with an all-star cast. So
Mhm.
go ahead.
so Gabby, do you want to go or should I take it off?
I'll start because when I thought of this, I think of all those like ensemble movies where it's
Mhm.
like, remember they did that like it was like 3 or 4 years of like New Year's, Valentine's Day, and it was like
Yeah,
literally everyone they could find to be in a
Oh,
movie.
I
yeah.
remember
So
those.
I thought of that specifically. She's Just Not That Into You is a movie like that where it was just like stacked with people and it was all different stories that were kind of connected, but it was definitely like more women geared,
Mm.
where it was like sort of a chick flick. Um, and it's one of those things where you're like, you put it on, you're like, why am I watching this? This is so stupid. But you sit there and watch it. I don't know. I feel like that's uh, a chick flick kind of thing for me. But the one that I picked that was stacked, I remember being so excited for this movie. It came out in 2013. It was Gangster Squad. I don't know if you
Thanks.
guys know that
Oh
one.
my god. I was looking forward to
All
that
right,
movie,
Crash
and that
remembers.
oh,
I remember seeing the preview and I was like, this movie's gonna be so good. It was Sean Penn, Nick Nolte, uh, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, Anthony Mackie,
Wow.
Giovanni Ribisi. There was so many people, and it was like a 1920s, 30s like gangster noir kind of thing. And I think I hyped it up in my head, but it also didn't do good and it didn't do well with the reviews. So I remember I saw it in the theater. That's how excited I was for this movie. And it was so boring.
yeah.
Not like there was no character development. Like I'm gonna say the only good thing about it was like the set. The set and the costumes. I think they got that right for the time
Right.
period that it was. But everything else was like I did not care about any of the characters. Everything was either drawn out or too short, and I didn't know who the character was. I'm like, why would he decide to do that? The bad guy had a long drawn out. It was the ending was super anticlimactic, and I was like, I just left the theater. I remember leaving the theater like, what did I just watch? How do they
Right.
have that many people and this movie is that bad? So my pick was Gangster Squad. If you want to watch it, I don't know if I have to recommend watching it.
I don't know if I
Um,
want to watch it now.
it
Yeah,
was
it's bad.
it was it was bad. It was not good. And then also the draw of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone at that time, they had done maybe like 2 movies together. They had really good chemistry. And in this movie, it was just like they had couple scenes together, but it was like I was like, "What happened to them? Like, what happened to the
Yeah,
chemistry?" In all the
yeah,
other movies, you had it, and in this movie, where it was like a period piece kind of thing where it should have been like more romantic, it just fell flat. It was very disappointing. So my answer is Gangster Squad.
Gangster Squad. Okay, I'll
yeah.
put that on. I'll put that on do not watch list. Copy.
Please don't
Also, it was
watch.
it it was shot like digitally, and it looked so bad. Um,
Yeah, I
it was
think
so
they
off-putting.
marketed it too as that. I'm like, "What?" Not good.
Oh man,
What about
Akash,
a good pick?
what's your pick, man?
Well, Gabby, what about like a good one that you thought like was stacked and ended up being a really good
I
film?
actually didn't I don't know, I didn't look, I only went for best.
Oh,
Man,
so I mean,
So
do you
good
want to
movie
circle back?
set with people. Yeah, circle back. I'll try and think of one.
Okay, okay, cool. Um, thinking about this movie, I mean, sorry, this list in recent times, there were two movies that I thought that I was looking forward to. Both had stack cast, and both I like both directors. The first one came out a couple years ago called Amsterdam. That was directed also by David O. Russell, and it was starring like Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Anya Taylor-Joy, Michael Shannon, Taylor Swift, and I think De Niro as well. And David O. Russell, he's such a fantastic director. Like I mentioned The Fighter earlier, but the movie was just so boring and so forgettable, and it just wasted this incredible cast, and I just ended up forgetting about it in like a week or so. And then there was also Babylon, uh, directed by Damien Chazelle, who I think is actually a really good director. I recently watched La La Land, and I loved it actually. And I'm not a musical guy by any means, but I thought it was fantastic, and I like his directing style. And that cast was also really good. Like it had Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt and Tobey Maguire in it, and I think Samara Weaving, if I'm not mistaken. And it had a really good story as well. It took place in like 1920s Hollywood during a period where it was transitioning from like silent films to like sound, and it was 3 hours, and I fell asleep. I just fell asleep. That movie was so drawn out and it was so boring. But if we want to talk about movies that had stacked cast and I think surpassed expectations were really good, I could name a few, but the ones that I really want to focus on is we have to talk about Pulp Fiction. I think Pulp Fiction has an incredible ensemble, brought back John Travolta, and just delivered what I think was then Tarantino's, and still considered by many as Tarantino's best film. I also think the Ocean's films, 11, 12, and 13, used their stacked and ensemble cast very well. I like those movies a lot. Also, Gabby mentioned earlier, and I said it last week as my favorite film, Snatch. Snatch has a wonderful cast that utilizes everybody so perfectly. Especially Jason Statham, Brad Pitt in that movie. But my favorite character was what's his name? Vinnie Jones. I think Vinnie Jones in that movie is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, those are my picks for movies that had ensembles and were really good. You could also argue any Nolan films as well. Nolan films always has great cast and always seems to deliver.
Yeah, you mentioned Tom Hardy for your crush. I think he looks his best in Inception.
Yeah,
He
yeah, there you go.
he looked great in Inception, and Inception has a million people in it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, my picks, I think, for worst hot trash garbage, it's gonna be the movie Cats. That was oof. I
Oh,
didn't even I had no interest, but because it became such a viral meme, I was like, I gotta watch this, and it was hot garbage. I don't know. I don't know how they missed the mark on that, because the Broadway play is actually an amazing play. Eh, Play to movie.
Wait, did you watch Cats? You watched the whole
Yes,
movie?
I tried. It was rough. It was almost like water torture for me. Like I was like spill your beans. Like, no, I'll make you watch Cats. Please don't make me watch Cats. It was just terrible. I don't even. I think it's universally hated. I don't think I have to go into too much detail how bad that movie was. It
yeah,
was
it's
it was a
horrifying.
box office failure, flop. It didn't hit with audiences. It just complete trash. Um, my I think best movie with a cast of ensemble is The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh my God, yes,
That
yes,
movie,
Fun.
that's the chef's kiss.
yes. I
That
agree.
fantastic. That I nothing wrong to say about that movie. You know, so those are
I
those
mean,
are my two picks. I mean, I'm sure I can honorable mention. This could be for next episode of the hot takes. I know me and Akash might a clash on this. Love to hear Gabby. Maybe we'll keep it for next episode. But
yeah.
another great movie with a fantastic all-star cast is The Avengers.
All right, so that was going to be my answer, and I don't know if it was a good enough answer if we could do Marvel movies.
Yeah, we
'Cause
could. But we'll keep that for the next episode on hot takes. We'll
Yeah.
definitely pick up on that next time.
all right, so it was either that or I'm going to say Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, that's
Oh,
another good one. Wow, fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
The cast is crazy, so
Can I,
that's my answer.
Carlos? I also want to add that because you said Grand Budapest, Wes Anderson, he's fantastic when it comes to casting.
He really
I
is.
think I don't think there's been a single movie that I've seen of him with an ensemble cast that he's missed. He's just fantastic.
Yeah, he always tends to pick the same actors. He goes back to the same bag, and his formula works.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
he's got
yeah,
he's got a cavalry of amazing talent to use, and he knows how to put them in his movies.
yeah. I'd have to agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
But speaking on cats as well, that movie was so bad that God sent the pandemic to make us forget about it a couple months later.
Yeah.
So think about
Oof.
that.
No.
Let that sink.
Man, that was man. Was that a punishment for us? Oh man.
Yeah.
I think it
I think it was
was. It
horrifying.
really was.
Yeah.
That movie was terrifying, and I'm surprised that you watched even any of it. That really was.
You
I saw the
know,
full movie.
I didn't even
when
try to watch Cats.
when we're all cinephiles, you have to watch everything, the good and the bad. Whether it's an action movie, a love movie, a musical, you just have to give it your time and attention, right?
But where did you
Not
stop? Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
Wow.
I'm a
You have more
completionist.
power than I, sir.
Yeah, I cannot start something and just end it halfway. I need to finish the whole movie, and because sometimes movies don't work out the first half and then they get great the second half, right? But
This
this
is
one
That
I
not the
had
wasn't
case.
Cats.
This
not
isn't
with Cats.
No,
You
that
know,
that wasn't Cats.
I think with that cat we had to euthanize it. You know?
should have
Oh,
never, yeah. Never been
yeah,
born. That cat.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what?
So
I was better off forgetting about that for the last couple of years, but thanks,
yeah.
Carlos, for
Sorry,
bringing that back in my mind.
sorry
But
for
it's crazy
bringing.
how many people are in that movie. If you
Yeah,
look up the cast for Cats, it's
It's a wonderful
insane.
cast.
It's
yeah.
a crazy
It's
cast. They have Judy Dench in there,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Judy
Madam
Dench
Judy Dench.
in
Yeah,
Cats.
yeah.
No,
It's
terrible. It was so hard,
like I
hard to
said,
watch.
it is hard to watch. But sorry for bringing back repressed memories. My bad. Yeah. So, so
Nightmares about Cats.
to our Cinema Subway audience, please tune in next episode where we're gonna have some real spicy hot takes on maybe some of your favorite movies. Classics, modern. So tune in for that. Please make sure to look us up on Instagram at the Cinema Subway. Please follow for more content and updates. And also, please don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. It will definitely help us grow, and we would be very much appreciated. So until next time, keep riding the Cinema Subway, and don't forget to grab the popcorn.